on my picture book that I took in Korea.
Ralph Tate says he joined the Marine Corps Reserves, but after a while, he stopped going to meetings.
My cousin says, you're going to be drafted if you don't leave with our unit. So let's write the Commandant and see if he puts you on active duty. So sure enough, I got a letter that said you are hereby on active duty.
Mr. Tate is now 87 years old.
Be 88 in August.
The basement of his home is full of memories of the years he spent in the Marine Corps and the reunions he had in the years after. Labor Day 1950, he boarded a train in downtown Chattanooga,
where the Choo is now, and went to California.
He went to boot camp and more training, came home for a few days, and got married. He was then sent to fight in the Korean War.
We landed in Kobe, Japan, left all of our gear there in the warehouse, except our combat gear.
He was then sent into South Korea. The Battle of the Chosin Reservoir was a couple of months earlier. When he arrived, the men who fought there were returning from battle.
We were fighting the Chinese then, really, because they came across the border up there, and the Marines had to fight in all directions to get out.
He was fighting with the 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. He says he had several close calls.
Jumped in a foxhole that was up there, another fellow in it. So we started getting mortars. The
other Marine in the foxhole didn't survive the blast.
We got out of that fight and got into several more on the way up.
He was at the Battle of the Punch Bowl in September of 1951.
Which was a large valley with mountains all around it, and it was several positions had to be taken. Some of them, the Army took some of them.
And the Marines took others.
There's 15 KIAs, 141 casualties that had to be evacuated. And then there's about, I think, 40 walking casualties that were able to walk off. And then there's 11 that wasn't wounded at all. And I was one of the 11.
Ralph says he was never wounded in the war that he was aware of, but he had his knee replaced a few years ago, and a doctor removed a piece of metal from his knee that he assumes was shrapnel from the Korean War. He also has battled hearing problems and PTSD for years. The young lady he married before the war, they were married for 67 years. His wife passed away a little more than a year ago.